We're going to have Uriah open it up for us with Trump, with the Trump indictment. That's crazy. Who would have ever thought first president in history to be really sitting on trial for some charges?
Right after he was president too. I think he is actually the first president in history to get arrested. Like,
probably shouldn't be the first.
Welcome. After he was booked, the former president, and here he is.
President Trump, will you come speak to us, President Trump?
There it is, about 5 seconds, but 5 seconds of history in this country. The first time we have ever seen a president, former or current, criminally charged. We know he's already been booked. He is a criminal defendant entering a courtroom in Lower Manhattan, John.
But hey, so
first we got to introduce everybody.
Oh yeah,
so this is Uriah.
I'm Uriah, Yuri.
And then we got Kylie. Yep, and then some newlyweds or soon to be.
Soon to be newlyweds. Don't let the rings fool you just yet.
And then we got Tim, and y'all already know Victoria. She's done a few reaction videos with me before, so she's just not here today. She at work, so
making that bread.
So yeah, too bad for that, but no biggie. But yeah, open us up, Uriah.
All right, so as y'all know, or may not know, on I think Tuesday, April 4th.
Yep.
Trump became the first president to be arrested for something. It didn't last long because before the day was over, he was already bailed out.
Right.
And on his way home.
3 days away from April Fool's Day, mind you. Ain't that ironic?
Yeah, hilarious. But so essentially kind of the premise behind it is that they're charging him with there's a misdemeanor charge that gets involved with falsifying business records, and it turns into a felony charge if you're falsifying those business records to cover up another crime. And so they're essentially saying that he falsified a lot of records from his company dealing from before the election.
Yeah.
With his campaign. And so Trump had one of his lawyers, Michael Cohen, or this is according to the article that I read. Of course, as things come to fruition and we figure everything out, there's still the trial going on. So we'll see how the testifying goes between Michael Cohen and Trump. And if they ask Stormy Daniels, which is kind of what this is all about, to testify. With that hush money. Exactly.
Yeah.
So according to Michael Cohen, one of his ex-lawyers for Trump, Trump had him pay $130,000 to Stormy Daniels and another, I believe it was a real estate agent named Karen or something like that. It was either a real estate agent or another porn person that Trump was having an affair with, to kind of keep it on the hush-hush while he was having the campaign. That way his lecture would go off without people thinking he was, some cheater and against the American way.
Right.
And so Michael Cohen actually went to jail for that. He went to prison for 3 years, and I think he just recently got out. And so now they're having Michael Cohen testify against Trump on that trial. And in a quote, he said that it wasn't for revenge that he was testifying against Trump, or that he was trying to make Trump look bad or anything like that. He said that Trump needs to be brought to justice.
Right.
Essentially. So, I mean, there's another lawyer, though, that Trump has that's also going to be testifying for him. One of his more current lawyers. His name is Let me make sure.
Yeah, don't be afraid to pull up the article now.
Yeah, his name is Robert Costello.
Okay.
Robert Costello, who is kind of one of his current lawyers, is kind of helping him with all of his orders now.
Right.
Who's saying that he wouldn't really trust Michael Cohen. So as time goes on, we'll see who ends up being more of a credible source. And I mean, most of these things, they come out and it's usually kind of obvious who's actually at fault. If both stories from Michael Cohen and Stormy Daniels end up being identical, and then the one from Trump and Costello are a little bit off, it's gonna be obvious, or vice versa. If they both have the same story, or three of them, it'll be pretty obvious who is wrong in which case. But so essentially they arrested Trump on they have a few charges, but most of them deal with him falsifying the records of like what they used the $130,000 to actually pay for.
Right.
Because they covered it up as something else.
Right.
But so that's kind of like, so who do you think, like, do you think that, like, of course we all know there's probably something that went on between Trump and Stormy Daniels, but do you think that it was like justified for him to go to jail? Because I mean, I guess it would just depend on like how fair do you think it would be to cover that up before the election?
I want to hear what Kylie thinks as a girl. I mean,
Yeah.
who better to ask, you know?
I mean, I think it's interesting that the real reason he's ending up, you know, on trial or having to go to jail for all this stuff is because of the business aspect. You know,
Right.
if it was just a private relation when it happens, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. It wouldn't be blown up out of proportion like it is. But I think it's fascinating because realistically, $130,000 is not a lot in the grand scheme of business, especially president.
Yeah,
Trump's
especially
business.
presidential campaigns.
So
Right.
and campaigns. So I mean, it's interesting that it comes after he had already been impeached as president,
Right.
and found innocent. So I think it's just another way to distract and maybe to soil the reputation of Trump going into the next election. And I think that's really the reason that it's getting so much traction and media attention rather than just being a small civil lawsuit that's handled in courts.
Right.
Because he's rich and powerful enough that it wouldn't have gotten to the point of arrest, realistically.
I mean, he did get arrested, but it didn't really seem like he got arrested,
Right.
other than.
But it's still.
But it's more so
yeah.
just kind of like a mark on his reputation, like,
Exactly.
we can still put you in jail, but you know.
That's gonna ruin his credibility when it comes to politics. And
Right.
being
Now, if he
president.
does become, if they do actually like go through with his prosecution and he does get found guilty of like falsifying business records, he could go to jail for around 4 years, which is kind of funny that it's like 4 years is like the term for like
Right.
for like one of those sentences.
4-year term, 4 years in
Yeah,
jail.
that is pretty funny. But like say he
Right.
does get off on these charges because
April
like
4th.
right, yeah, 444. Dang, that's crazy. But like say he does get off on these charges, do you think that it'll hurt his chances as a potential like candidate for the next election?
I think it's interesting you say that, and going back to what Kylie said, it could go either way, because you know how America is. They love a triumph story. They love somebody who was losing at first and then they come out on top.
And
you know?
like he beat all these cases. He
Right.
beat all the he beat all the charges. What now?
Yeah.
What you gonna throw at him
But
now?
I do think, unfortunately, it's not always as easy as what the Americans want when it comes to presidential elections. It's
Yeah.
going to end up being the choice of the Republican Party if they are going to allow him
Right.
to be their nominee.
Facts.
And I think if, with all of this chaos going around, it's going to lower his chances.
It is
Right.
definitely gonna make him a more risky candidate versus.
Right.
Now, I mean, we know already that Biden has a very slim chance of being the Democratic nominee, but
But
they
it's
could
really-
still throw another big name.
I
out there.
wouldn't say that. I wouldn't, because it's kind of unprecedented for them to take the current president and
It
not
is.
rerun him. So unless something happens to Biden, like a heart attack or like kind of with Bernie Sanders, where like it looked like it was kind of a sure bet that he was going to get elected, and then he had a heart attack right in the middle of his like campaign season. I feel like unless something happens with Biden again, I don't see why they would pick another, because I mean it's not like he didn't win the first time.
His approval rating is just so low, though.
It is really low right now,
Really?
and I don't think anybody, Republican or Democrat, really usually has anything nice to say about him.
Yeah.
So I mean, we could also be seeing another first where like the current president doesn't get chosen as the next president just because of how bad he looked while he was in office. But it would be interesting to see like in the next couple of like weeks and like months who they choose to like replace both candidates. Say they both get washed out. This is kind of a random question, and it's only because I've been thinking about it because I keep seeing Ted Cruz everywhere. But does anybody have anybody they would prefer to run?
Not right now. The choice is kind of up in the air for me. I don't even know what the hell is going on and what the direction of things are gonna be because it's just so up in the air. It's a weird time, man, with all the money stuff going on and
100%,
different things like that. I'd have
definitely.
to see. I think we got to let some things play out first before I could really truly make a deciding factor in the whole matter because usually I'm pretty sure on my voting stance, but right now I don't really know,
And that's just in general, though. There's a lot of instability in politics right now.
Right.
Definitely.
There's been a lot of key players that have stepped back out of the limelight and a lot of new people that have stepped in, so it's hard to say who the next strongest candidates to replace would be.
Right.
But I mean, if Bernie weren't so old, I feel like he would be a strong Democratic replacement.
Yeah, right. I mean, he was a strong candidate until the heart attack.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Hillary Clinton run again, though.
Oh,
That wouldn't be
I
surprising.
wouldn't be surprised by that.
I don't know. She kind of went through it though. Like with the I don't know if I mean, we could see. I mean, she got close.
She got real close last time.
She got close.
And, and I think it's just wild, like that. All this stuff's coming out on Trump, but all the allegations against her, all the allegations
kind of
against,
right away. They were gone.
And then there was allegations with Biden as well with his son. There's literally pictures surfacing of his son with a crack pipe.
Yeah.
That's all things that are like going against the grain as in that sort of
or like
position
the Hunter
of power.
Biden laptop situation.
Yeah,
It's like it all just kind of went away.
Right, and not even including the fact that and not to delve or go off on a tangent, but he went over to Russia. The son went over to Russia, was having interbusiness dealings with Russia.
I see Biden getting impeached over that, though.
Right. It's like it's like all these various different things that are coming out to the surface that we can't that haven't been explained or talked to. And like when this guy who's the who was it again that you were saying that was coming against Trump? He was like he's like a lawyer maybe or something like
Michael
that.
Cohen?
Yeah, Michael Cohen's saying that he has to answer to these charges. Why is Biden not answering to the things that he's done and the things that he's been involved in?
Yeah.
Same with Hillary Clinton. She never answered to those hard drives she destroyed.
Yeah.
There was nothing.
She went to court for it. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Well,
what exactly
she
came
definitely
of it.
won at some
They
point because
made it
They-
still hush hush.
Right.
It
Yeah.
happened under the radar. I think it was.
Well, I think it's just about like you realize really quickly what the media wants you to pay attention to just by what they like. It's kind of sucky because like you really don't get a choice other than by going through like another alternative media source where it's like, okay, well, I guess I'll go look up like the WNSBC or like some random like news network that like nobody ever listens to or watches.
Right. Like when you look, you were saying WSNBC, right?
Yeah, or something.
Well, like when you look at their viewer rating,
it's so
it's
bad.
Like outrageous.
Like,
and all their comments underneath their YouTube videos are completely populated comments, like fake, straight up fake comments, no profile picture, nothing.
Yeah,
it's insane. Like, and
but
it's
then
just
like you go to like CNN and it's like, okay, well, all I'm gonna get is
narrative,
anti-Trump, anti-gun.
I think it's such a bizarre time that we live in now with so much free ability to go on like what we're doing right now and talk on a camera, but like there's so much of also that power struggle where like there's people up top,
the people with the money that it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna pay you to not say anything because it's the same thing with Fox and with ABC and with like literally every major like news network is like whoever runs the network or whoever like pays all the bills is never talked about ever. Like they never talk about anybody up there, but that's just kind of just the way it seems to go.
Right. Yeah, I think it's a very fascinating time we live in, and like the internet basically killed television if we really want to think about it in that manner.
Yeah.
Like, who has cable anymore? That's not even a thing. It's Fire Stick.
My mom has cable.
Well, yeah. Like, let me just look at it from a perspective of like our age.
Nobody.
Like 30 and down. Nobody's rocking with.
A lot of it though is like, and not to like, because I feel like we're probably getting a little off topic, but a lot of it comes to like not being able to afford cable.
Yeah.
It's not worth the price now. It's like you get one channel, you get a package of channels, but you really only watch like 5 of them. Like if I were to get cable, I'm a little kid, but I mean, I would watch Cartoon Network, Nicktoons,
Facts.
Adults, well, that's Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
like occasionally, the news. I don't know which one it would be, but like
We'd have to pay
Comedy Central and
Right.
MTV.
But that's all by design
like-
too, though.
right.
That's all by design too. Like they purposely transitioned us from the cable to the internet.
yeah.
Like
but,
it's only.
But now
only,
it's like even if I'm here, like at my mom's house, like I won't watch cable. I'll
Right.
literally sit on my smaller phone and like find a
Right.
corner of the house that's quiet to watch my internet shows on,
Right.
which is kind of crazy now that you think
Right.
about it, because you're like, no matter where you are, no matter like what environment you're in, you'll still gravitate towards like what you're more comfortable with now at this point,
Right.
regardless of like, I mean, their subscription prices are going up, but we still keep paying them. And now everything has a subscription price, or you get like bombarded with ads, or, but I mean,
Yeah.
It kind of goes into that whole monopoly thing too.
yeah,
These big subscriptions and Netflix, Hulu, all of them, they have kind of a monopoly over the industry. So smaller companies don't
Right.
get the money anymore.
And then the people that will-
you're forced to keep paying
Yeah.
what what they raise it to, because you want to watch the good shows.
yeah.
Right.
And that is one thing that would be positive to see someone like Trump beat these charges, is that yes, you do get a controversial, chess piece put back on the board, but at the same time you get someone who's gonna like be real about what's going on,
Right.
and be real about the direction that the plan is moving forward towards. It's not just complete confusion. It's like what what he's gonna say, because like he said it before it, like he did it.
Yeah.
So I mean that is a positive outlook, but
Do you feel? I'm sorry,
go
not
ahead.
meaning
Yeah.
to interrupt you, but do you ever feel like maybe he's even like kind of like a puppet and there's a puppeteer? Like,
I feel like he was supposed to be a puppet.
yeah.
I feel like at the beginning,
maybe he might have started getting off course a little bit.
Yeah, but he said too much, and he was too, like
boisterous.
And he talked about stuff that he probably wasn't supposed to say. He gave them like people real answers when they would talk about stuff, but out of his own ego, not out of the interest of like whatever like
the people wanted.
whatever like party he has. Like,
Yeah.
'cause
Whoever was trying to be in
he's the first
Yeah.
politician that has talked that much about
Yeah.
anything. But the thing is that in all the stuff that he said, like we got a lot of future sight about what was being planned and what was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because he said something he wasn't supposed to,
Yeah.
Like they talked of like he predicted what was gonna happen with Russia, right? With Europe pissing Russia off, and then Russia cutting off their oil supply, and then them being screwed over, and the euro going down in value. And then he also predicted the convolution of Russia and China together, and then that being an issue. And everybody's like, oh, you're crazy. Oh, it's not going to happen. Oh, there's no way. And now, like, as soon as he goes out of office and somebody else goes into office that stops talking, we don't know anything's going on now. Like, they cover all the stupid stuff. As soon as we stopped hearing everything that he said was going to happen, in a weird way, started to happen. So, I feel like in that way, and now that's probably why I think, at least personally, why he's now getting hammered down on. Everybody thought that after he beat the impeachment, the impeachment trial, that was just going to be it.
Yeah.
Then he lost the election. Mm-hmm. And then now they're trying to prevent him from running in the next election. And then, after, if he doesn't run in this next election, there's no way he gets reelected in the next election. One, he'll be too old. Two, there will be someone else that the Republican Party has their eyes set on.
He won't be relevant.
He won't be relevant anymore. So all they have to do is get him to not run in this next election, and they won't have to deal with someone who's going to talk too much anymore.
Right.
And that's what I feel is happening. So we'll see if he wins or if he doesn't. But if he doesn't win, I'm 100% sure that it's going to be because of it's not like he's going to go to, a bad jail. He's going to go to one of those jails where you get to play tennis with
Yeah.
like Obama on a Thursday or whatever. But
I don't think he'd be doing that.
As if
yeah. Well, maybe not Obama, but I don't know. Bush.
they might play tennis on the weekends. You never know these guys.
One of the jails that has a 5-star golf course in the backyard that
Right.
he just somehow accidentally ends up on every once in a while.
Right.
but it'll still be like he won't be relevant anymore, and he'll just kind of go back to being how he was before he became the president. It's just, you know, just Donald Trump or whatever.
Unless he gets Epstein while he's in jail.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. We know if he dies, he definitely didn't kill himself.
And speaking of that, the Epstein thing was crazy too because Trump was even involved with him.
Involved with that
and
as
had
well.
inner dealings with Epstein. So
I ain't
that
gonna
within
lie,
itself-
Epstein wiggled his way into everybody's social circle. Epstein knew everybody.
Hillary Clinton.
The Clintons, the Obamas, the Bidens.
And then another thing that was very bizarre was that flight log being leaked. Which I'm like, you always have to question things, in my personal opinion. Like, why would they leak that? Well, you know?
Somebody probably died after leaking it, by the way. But then you wonder, okay, so they leaked it, but whoever's in charge of like running that sexual trafficking thing, why are you not now investigating all the people on it?
Anywhere?
Why is too many whys, but
No answers.
No
There's
answers.
too much power above.
Yeah. And there's things that I think that
Money
even
talks,
us-
bro.
Yeah.
We ain't got enough of it for sure. Money talks.
And I think that's something that like we'll never really know. I mean, unless we were up there with them, you know, colluding. You know, but
Let me win the lottery real quick. I got a gold ticket.
well, all right, guys, that's it for this one. We're gonna come back with another one. Good hollering at you
We're gonna
guys.
start doing the wingman out.